And welcome into the Wednesday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you. Hope everybody's off to a great start on this Wednesday morning. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com will be with us later in the program. We got a lot of things on the Titans front to get into with him. Joe Rexrode, how we doing? What's going on?
I'm doing fine, but I just want to thank. Is it Keith from Nolansville? Is that right? Do I have that?
I don't
right?
know.
I don't know if he's from
if he's from Nolansville or not, but it is Keith. Yes.
Yeah, Keith. Good job. Here's the shirt. If anybody's watching the stream, Low T Titan shirt. Now, the Low T Titan shirt, unfortunately, probably had a very short shelf life because We Ass is about to overtake the market completely.
It's true.
We Ass is going to be sell like hotcakes. Okay, but I really like this Low T Titan shirt. I thank you, Keith.
This is a Low T alert.
I will say that you could have had actually a lowercase t if you wanted, but that's okay. It's artistic interpretation.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, so there you go. Low T Titans. I mean, hey, if nothing else, this team is producing many slogans and merch and fun things for everybody to enjoy.
When the dozens of Titans fans that are there, the next time they're at home, you could see a few different options for shirts. There's no doubt. A lot of different shirt options.
And paper bags.
And maybe some of those as well. How about those Detroit Tigers yesterday, baby? I will tell you this. I had a little bit of time in the afternoon yesterday, and I watched 3-4 innings. It's the most baseball I've watched all year.
Nice.
And I devoted it to the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
Scuba was dealing.
No, he's unbelievable.
Dealing.
No, he's unbelievable. They scored their run on 2 swinging bunt bloop infield sink. It's just like, and then when that happened, I'm like, well, we're done. And then they should have tied in the third, and we actually got lucky. And yet I sit here right now, and I mean, even Kuharsky's he's taunting me about a win because he's like, oh, the Tigers take a lead. But I feel the same way. I have no confidence. I think we're going to lose both games and be done. And so, you know what? I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. But even if so, like for Scooble, that's the most road strikeout since Clemens in 2000s in the playoffs, I believe, or maybe at least in the AL. I'm not sure about that. Was Clemens in the AL in 2000?
I think so.
Was he with the Jays then?
In 2000? I think he was. He hadn't got to the Yankees yet, so yeah, probably.
So it was an incredible performance. So that was gratifying. But yeah, it's like living and dying with every pitch, and you wouldn't want to have been around me. Katie was like, okay, I'm going to leave the room now. Bye. But it was a great win, and I think we're going to lose the next 2. So.
Well, I don't think you're going to lose the next 2, but I'm not going to sit here and predict the win because the last few times I've done that hasn't gone well for me.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
I'm just going to shut up.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Please don't.
You're
but
welcome.
Still, to get
by the way, Clemens was with the Yankees in 2000. So
okay. Yeah, okay. I guess that's right. That was a Subway Series,
yeah.
Actually. Subway Series, Mets, Yankees that year. Yeah. Okay. So, and adding to yesterday, the Cubbies won, that's my second favorite team. So happy for that. And also the Yankees lost. And that's a beautiful thing. Look at that up there. And I made sure to text Kuharsky about that. So we got that going for us.
We do. We do have that going for us. We'll see how that all plays out. But we're all honorary Tigers fans.
That's right.
Here on this show.
I appreciate it.
So we are pulling for the Detroit Tigers in the world of baseball. K-Dot on the YouTube chat pointing out the NHL market getting reset yesterday with Kaprizov signing a 8-year deal, $17 million per year. So good for him.
Right.
And now McDavid's sitting there like, okay, cool.
My goodness. That's a number.
$17 million.
Player. My goodness.
Cap's going up. That's what they say. $17 million a year. Good for him.
What is McDavid going to get? Just like
whatever he wants.
50% stake in a franchise?
Yeah. I think his is less about the money, and the longer he goes without signing in Edmonton, the more people up there are freaking out. I'm like, hey guys, this makes a lot of sense that he's not signing with you guys right now. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But like you said, of course it's, he's going to get paid, but if you're him, what is the, okay, this is the place. They have been close. Now, granted, you'd like to have a better, goaltending situation, stuff like that. But what is this is, you put him on any team and you change the math completely, right? But
yeah, I think on Edmonton's roster, number one, they don't have a goalie, and everybody knows that. Like, they keep trying to trot Stuart Skinner out there as if he's the goalie, and he's not. And then the playoffs come around, and he doesn't play for half the playoffs because he sucks. So there's that. You're looking at their defense, like they're older. It makes, and it's Edmonton. That's the other thing I keep going back to. Like, you're living in Edmonton. So there's a lot there that makes me.
But that's another thing. Yeah. But just like the money, it's like, okay, well, just about any other place is also way better.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it just, there's a lot that makes sense about McDavid leaving his options open. So look, he may roll out there today and sign some deal in Edmonton, but the fact that he's taken it this far, it's never been about, he could have always made as much money as he wants to make. It's not about that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
It can be fascinating.
You're a Predators fan and be like, hey, let's have a halfway decent year this year and see if we can attract Connor McDavid next summer. Every general manager, I guarantee you, is thinking about it to some degree right now, even if it's not even realistic for your team.
They asked us at the Athletic to write our pitches for Connor McDavid, and I said something about country music.
He does like country music
because he came out with what's his name?
Came out with Morgan.
There you go. Yeah. I'm like, I guess that's country music, right? Is that country music?
Very trust. Sure. Just like, hey, Morgan, need you to do some recruiting while you're up there walking out in Edmonton.
Recruiting.
Do a little bit of recruiting up there. We got a lot to get into on the program today. We will get into the Titans with Paul Kuharsky, an interesting topic that Rexrode put together that I'm excited about later this hour that we will get into as well. I want to start here, though, because I saw this video yesterday, and it legitimately made me laugh out loud to the point where I sent it to Joe and Ian in our group chat. So let's just start it here. So Nick Holtz got out there yesterday, offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, that doesn't call plays. And when the opportunity was given to someone else to call plays, not the head coach anymore, they said, no, thank you to Nick Holtz. We're going to go right to Bo Hardigree. So he was asked about that yesterday. And then PK basically went Office Space on him after that as well. It was beautiful. Here was the back and forth exchange between Kuharsky and Titans offensive coordinator Nick Holtz.
Really didn't change my role very much. You know, I was a play caller before, so I'm still not, and which is totally fine. And sorry, go back to the rest of it.
Well,
how does it change?
I mean, I think people want more insight into
what I do. So, you know, I'm in each game plan meeting. You know, I'm in every one with run game, all the past game meetings, everything like that. So do that, handle all the scripting, kind of organize the offense, install the offense in front of the unit, give the unit meetings. So there's plenty of work there.
So that was Nick Holtz yesterday.
I do work here. I work hard. What would you say you do here?
I got to be honest.
I
feel a little bit bad for him. I really do. I feel a little bit bad for him. The answer he gave about not calling plays, even though I don't think he intended for it to be this way, is objectively hilarious. It was, well, you know, I didn't call plays before. Still don't. Oh, which is fine, by the way. Let me make sure we point out. That's fine. Okay. And then, I guess it's almost like that flustered him so much that he forgot the second part of the question. He's like, wait, what was the next part he said? Oh, yeah, what do I do? Yeah.
It's not fine, and I forgot your question. There also is a little bit of maybe a little afraid, like, you know, I've been passed over.
They don't trust me around here. They don't trust me to call plays. They gave it to the other guy, and we got shut out last week.
Yeah, you know, we got those 0 points last week when Bo called plays, which is fine.
Yeah, it's all fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You know. At that 3rd and 12 run, oh yeah, no, that's totally fine. I'm sure a lot of people would have done the same thing. Those 2 trick plays that were dumb and poorly placed, that's fine.
I will say, you know, Big Joe's been on this for a while of like Nick Holtz and being the offensive coordinator that doesn't call plays and like what exactly do you do? And my thought has always been, well, there's plenty of guys around the league that are offensive coordinators that haven't called plays.
Yes. Does Big Joe know this?
There's a lot of people that do that. Brian Callahan was that. Nathaniel Hackett got a head coaching job off of that. Didn't go well, but he did get a head coaching job off of that. So, like, it happens a lot around the league. However, yesterday it was just like, this poor guy. Like, they're 0-4. They've lost 10 games in a row. He's the offensive coordinator. they took the play calling away from the head coach and immediately were just like, nope,
Not
giving
you.
it to Nick. We're going right over here to this guy. Like, it's just not a good situation for Mr. Holtz out there.
Yeah. No, I gotta feel bad for him too. And yeah, he's handling it fine. And he's
Still not calling
like he
plays?
told Kuharsky, there's plenty of work, man. Plenty. I mean, all these meetings. We do a lot of training around here, a lot of sensitivity trainings.
Working on Saturdays.
That's right. Working on the weekends, cleaning up the office, refilling the water thing. There's a lot of stuff to do.
Still not calling plays, which is fine. That's all good. Let me make sure we point that out. It's fine.
The Nick Holtz thing, I've seen a lot of, we've talked a little bit about like the Callahans, and I suppose like if Brian is fired at some point this season, I mean, I would expect Bill to be out the door too. Now, I don't know the contract situation. Is it possible that, there's a multi-year contract to where if he's not fired, he forfeits it if he leaves? So they'd be like, yeah, you have to stay, Dad, maybe. But I don't believe for a second that Nick Holtz would be out there. I mean, Nick Holtz, that would be crazy. Like, he will still be here. I mean, you're trying to, he's elevating in the league. He was a Jags pass game coordinator. Before that, he was like coaching receivers, and he was in college. So, I mean, he will be here.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, yeah, that Holtz and the Callahans are out there.
Somebody still has to be here.
Yeah, I know that they were friends and stuff like in high school, but he's not going to, in the NFL, coaches get fired in the season, and then all the other coaches are pros and do the job and fulfill their duties.
They can still text Brian in their spare time out there.
Yeah, they'll still be friends.
615-737-1025, our phone number. A couple other thoughts on the Titans I want to get to coming up next, and we will get to a fun topic from Rexrode later this hour as well. All that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. I've been locked out of the text line again. Rexrode's in charge today.
See, that's dangerous. That's dangerous when you put me in charge. I mean,
Rexrode is in charge.
I might just sit here and be like, oh, here's a texter who says Rexrode is a genius, and he is by far the most genius who ever genius.
I'm just glad Rexrode wasn't in charge on Friday when we were talking about the Nico Collins, L'Jarius Sneed back and forth. We'd have had some bad information on the text line.
But there were some people who supported me, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Even if I was wrong, I appreciate your support. I'm still right about L'Jarius Sneed, though. He's that dude. He doesn't know anybody in the NFL. He knows 5 people.
I hope somebody asked him on this week, like, hey, L'Jarius, could you name every player you know in this league, including your teammates?
Like, again, like there's no way he plays fantasy football, which again is not a big deal. But I think that the people who are nerds about their sports, I think they can elevate themselves to an even higher level. He's an extremely talented player. I'll give you Draymond Green. Okay, he is a student of the game. Like he knows stuff about like Wilt Chamberlain and John, and I think that has helped him. I mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then some people are just like they're really good at it and they don't care about it.
Yeah, think he's heard of Marvin Harrison Jr.?
That's a good question. Someone should ask him this week.
I wonder.
Who?
And his dad? Who's his dad? Who is he and who's his dad? I don't know either.
If he pulled the who back-to-back weeks, I would respect it. I really would.
I would too.
Like, who? Who's that?
Then I might believe Joe even more.
I was going to say at some point, maybe he just doesn't know anyone at all in the world. Who are you?
If he does it again this week, I'll be on the lookout for like a 2nd and 40 for the Titans defense. I'm like, well, it's 2nd and 40. Cardinals got them right where they want them out there, baby. L'Jarius, it's time to bow up, son. They're coming your way.
And by the way, Denard Wilson kind of gently, let everybody know that, it was L'Jarius's fault. And, we all saw another play too that was clearly his fault. I would have liked him to do something different on that play.
Yep. That's how you could probably sum up the Titans as far. I would have liked something different to have gone down to this point.
Yeah. Now a lot of people are. I'm a little bit, maybe, I don't know, perplexed, but like people tweeting at us about this. Fassel, Bones Fassel. He's good. He's a good coordinator. They've been good on special teams. He could be the interim coach, but like. I guess I'm a little confused. So you haven't heard this quote?
I've not. No.
I'd like to. Can we play it, Ian? Yeah. I'm sorry.
I know you gave it to Ian a minute and a half ago.
I know. I'm
just
a
minute,
jerk.
please.
I'm just testing him. It's like it's seeing how fast. I mean, I say.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a text. Could you immediately put it on the air?
I mean, I belch into a microphone like at 7:41, and it's in the intro to the rant at 7:45. Like, it's kind of amazing.
It's true.
It's like, wait a minute, I just did that.
Well, before we get to that, I do want to get your thoughts on something.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of conversation about Cam Ward right now, and not just around here, around the league. It was on Get Up yesterday. It was on a couple different ESPN shows yesterday about the start of the season. And obviously what he said after the game, it's making the rounds nationally now. But people are also talking about the numbers. 51.2% completion percentage, 614 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. And, they're already asking some questions about, like, are the Titans going to ruin Cam Ward? Basically, is part of the conversation. So we've gone through the numbers. How concerned are you by just the numbers right now when you look at a completion percentage that frankly is terrible? Like, it's a terrible completion percentage in the league, 4.9 an attempt. Knowing the context of everything going on with the team right now, how much do those numbers concern you?
Well, I guess, for me, if you've watched every snap like we had, then I put that at a higher value than the numbers. I would say that the numbers, like if you just based on everything I've seen and didn't know any numbers and you said those numbers to me, I'd be a little surprised. They're a little worse than I would have guessed, but they're bad. There's no question they're bad. And there's no we don't want to overstate like what he's been. He's I think I see it. I see the potential for someone who could be a good quarterback. Definitely big arm. And again, I like a lot of the things outside of the game right now, but that only goes so far. So I don't know. I'm not really answering your question, but I guess like watching him means a lot more to me than like whatever the numbers say. The numbers can be deceiving. They can be.
I agree.
And I think that they do speak in part to other stuff. I mean, early in the season, especially, like some of the drops were bad. Like last weekend, that wasn't really a thing. I don't think, right? Did he? There was probably a drop or two, but
Yeah, it wasn't that.
but
It
it
wasn't a
wasn't
huge deal.
yeah.
Last
And obviously,
weekend.
protection is the constant theme here with the Titans. Even though, I mean, he didn't. I thought he might get sacked about 7-8 times in this game, and he didn't. So yeah, I mean, it's not good. I mean, let's be honest, it's not good. Also, I'm sitting here after 4 games. I'm not like after 4 games of Levis, and it was the second season, but after 4 games of Levis last year, I think it was a little bit more. Ooh, I mean, I don't know. Whereas it's not that with this. Is that because he's a rookie? Is that because you automatically in your mind put more runway in there? Probably some, but I also do think he's like I would say this is a better looking quarterback than what Levis was at the same point last year.
I would agree with that. The numbers part
That's
of it,
not like that's your standard, but I'm just
Right.
saying that's the comparison. The obvious comparison.
the completion percentage is concerning to me. Like
Yeah.
that has got to get 51.2% is unacceptable.
And there are some like got to hit that one.
Yeah.
And that's one of the I mean, it's a big part of it.
And
Like
some of
over
it-
time, it's a big part of it.
Well, and some of it's drops for sure. Like they have dropped the ball too much this year. I think some of that probably also speaks to what we've talked about a lot with him to this point, which is maybe either not seeing or not going for those check downs or easy access throws that are right in front of you with enough regularity. And I get it to a certain degree, and I think this is the danger as they go forward here with how bad they are. Like they're so bad that is he feeling the pressure of having to do too much out there? Like, is he like, well, if I don't make this play here, we can't score. And I don't know if that's creeping into his game yet. I think the longer this goes on where they're just a horrible offense, the more you worry about that. I think Brian Callahan was asked about that the other day. Like that to me is a concern as they move forward. I mean, if you extrapolate his first 4 games out over a 17 game average, you're talking about 2,600 yards, 9 touchdowns, 9 picks, and sacked 72 times would be
Oh boy.
what that would look like.
Yeah. I mean, that's the type of number where again, it's like, okay, you get someone hit that often, sack that often, maybe you can ruin them. Again, I think the ruin him thing is overdone. It's like halftime adjustments, maybe.
Yeah.
But look, you're right. Like around the league, that's the conversation. Callahan's the conversation. Yeah, they don't talk about the Titans all that much, but they are now.
They are.
Not for the reasons you want. But yeah, I mean, look, I think trying to do too much is definitely. I mean, it's understandable to a point, but also, yeah, I think that's one of the hard things. And watching him in college, he took chances. He took chances, and it paid off. Sometimes it very much didn't pay off. It's like how much less can you get away with in the NFL? And I think he's learning. And I think that's who made that comment? Was that someone made? I guess it was that Holt yesterday too, talking about that. Basically, like, yeah, he's learning that like the NFL is not college football.
It's good to know.
That's a true statement.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
We will get to that John Fassel clip coming up next. Also get into a fun topic that Rexrode has put together that I'm actually very excited about. We will get into that. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. A John Fassel clip and a quote that's making the rounds on Titans Twitter. I've not heard this yet, so I'm excited to hear it. Here's what John Fassel had to say yesterday, Titans media availability.
I'm not saying I can't say it all that other people aren't. It's a good question, a tough question. I think I've tried to wrap our arms around the young guys, the rookies. We've talked about it before. We got a lot of new rookies that I think have been fantastic contributors. I can't speak on anything that happened here last year because I wasn't here, offense, defense, or special teams. So I've looked at this group and this opportunity as a fresh one, a new one. And I've tried to keep the schematic very simple, the competition and technique very high. And I think as the season goes, I think we're going to get better and better on special teams. Whatever we've been the first 4 weeks, people can think what they want, but I feel like we're going to get a lot better. The Houston game, from a coach's, if I can kind of go into it a little bit, from a coach's copy, Houston's got a very good special teams unit, very good special teams coach. So for us just to basically kind of go toe-to-toe, it was like a one-on-one game for us on special teams, almost for performance and for production, but almost for evaluation. I hate to say it, even during the course of a game, like, let's put our young guys out there and go compete against this really good special teams unit one-on-one and see what we got. And so sometimes that's been the goal a little bit too, is get our guys out there and fight one-on-ones and teach them what it looks like and teach them how to do it together. And I think maybe as a team for the Titans, one thing we can continue to work on and preach is a complementary football. How does a defensive 3-and-out or a takeaway get turned into points by the offense? And how does a great, kickoff cover, punt cover, turn the drive start from the -10 into a 3-and-out for the defense? And so I think one thing we got to work on as Titans as a team is just a complementary football part of it, and not like how does the special teams perform, offense perform, or defense perform as separate entities, but how do we all perform as like one unit, and how does one side of the ball feed off the other? And I think that's a huge part of pro football is not just the separate entities, but how does each team feed off the other? And if one team's, maybe slacking a little bit, one side picks it up. Or if one team capitalizes, then the other face comes in and turns that capital into opportunity. So I know I'm going way too much in a tangent, but football is fascinating in the mold of complementary football. And I think when we get to that part where we can turn a turnover into a touchdown, and a big punt return into a touchdown, and a long drive into a field goal, which gives our defense rest, all those moving parts is going to help us win football games. Sorry for the long answer, but I love talking about that aspect of the game.
That was John Fassel.
That's
So
fine.
That's making the rounds.
Yeah, like people are going nuts about this. So Dave O tweets at us and said, "Did this blow your hair back? Have you heard anything this honest and football relevant in a while? Something that wasn't just word salad? Hashtag all caps. Hire him tomorrow." I'm like, that was a good answer. It was a good answer. How desperate are you people?
I think that's people are looking for anything other than what they've got at head coach right now. So a guy that very well could be and he could be the interim head coach.
And he's done a good job.
He's done a good job.
Yeah.
They are looking for this guy knows. Let's put him in. But yeah, it was a good answer. When you really listen to him there, he's basically saying, yeah, we need to get to a point where all of our the parts of our football team are good.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, I would agree.
Hey, complimentary football, it's a good idea. The problem is if only the special teams is good, then it's going to be hard to play complimentary football. But special teams is good, except for the kicker.
Yeah, except for missing the 41 and 43-yard kicks.
Yeah.
Which I guess you can't really put on the special teams coach.
Well, now don't tell Stilly that.
That's true.
Oh, my goodness. What did you do to him, Bones? I don't know. It was just like people are going nuts about this. And I'm like, it's a good answer.
Yeah.
But dude, calm down.
I think you've hit on exactly what it is. It just this fan base, you asked the question yesterday of going back through the firings. People, especially the timing of when J-Rob got fired, are like, huh? It's the middle of the year. We're in first place. What are you doing? Vrabel, I think, was pretty split. Carthon, I don't know if it was split, but there were certainly people that didn't think that Carthon deserved to be fired.
Give him more time or whatever.
Yeah. I think this is pretty clear. The fan base is there ain't very many pro Callahan people that are left in the fan base right now.
So, Amy, you know what you got to do. Give him an extension.
It may be what pushes some people over the edge when it comes to this franchise.
Whoever isn't yet.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'm going to find anything else better to do here. So, Joe, you have come up with a fun topic here, and you've related it to baseball here, and it's interesting. So, apparently, the San Francisco Giants have a little bit of interest in Tony Vitello, trying to get him away from Tennessee here. Now, that's not overly surprising. Like we've talked about the success that Vitello has had running the baseball program at Tennessee. Would the day ever come where Major League Baseball teams try to lure him away and try to get him to a spot where he's like, you know what? Major League Baseball, that's where I want to be. So we'll see what happens on that front there. But you got Vitello, obviously very successful. Corbin, obviously very successful. At this point with Corbin, I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, he's not going to Major League Baseball.
There are many threats
right,
with MLB and other programs over the years, but I think you're probably right?
It feels like he probably would have done that.
Like
already.
Rick Barnes, Tim Corbin, I think they're going to retire in their jobs.
I would agree. So maybe for the sake of this discussion, we should take those two out. But Vitello, kind of right in the thick of things at Tennessee. You got Clark Lee doing a fantastic job at Vanderbilt right now, and obviously they got a huge game coming up this weekend. But if he continues to do well and to build the program, there will be people – I know there will be people in college that will be calling for him and trying to get him to come run their program. Would that happen with NFL teams as well? And then Heupel. And that was a big conversation a couple years ago in 2022 about how good the offense was and would NFL teams be interested in him. Now, as we pointed out at the time, the offense that Heupel runs in college ain't the offense you'd be running in the NFL. Just would not go well. So which of those coaches, or if you want to throw somebody else in there, you can, is the biggest threat to be lured away from their job right now?
I would throw also Shea Ralph in.
Yep.
First of all, whenever Gino hangs it up, here the thing about Vanderbilt women's basketball this year is injuries and defections. I thought this could be a Final Four type team, and now there's some new players you don't know about, but even with one of the best players in the country, I have my doubts about that now. It's too bad. Jake Lyman can speak to that much better than I can, but but she has done tremendous work, and I'm guessing that job would be the one, right? So you have to. So I'd be surprised if any other job could lure her away the way things are going. I mean, the way like their basketball buildings, like they're going to be some of the best in the country. And again, we talk about all the things that are going on at Vanderbilt that are positive for athletics. Tony Vitello, I mean, it's just really interesting to think about him in MLB, I guess I'd be surprised if he wanted. He just seems like a college guy out of the way.
Does.
But at the same time, you're a successful manager in Major League Baseball. I mean, it is the highest level of baseball, right? Like, and I would say financially, it's probably a pretty significant difference if you're a big market successful manager in MLB. So, I mean, you can't totally close it. And it was Andrew Baggerly who wrote that for us at The Athletic about, and I think there's legit, and it makes sense. It's just like the way he even goes about things, But then again, all these MLB players now, they get a double, hey, look at the dugout and do some dumb clap. So I guess it would be fine. Not that I'm blaming Tony Vitello for all that stuff, but like the Vols are the most, like demonstrative of that. Now I cannot believe that MLB guys are like doing this stuff.
Hey, look at the dugout over here.
I'm going to act like a seal. Okay, you got to double. Shut up and like take your batting gloves off and get ready to like look at the sign. So I'm such an old man yelling at a cloud. Clark Lee, though.
The Clark Lee part of this to me is really interesting because let's say that they continue, like whatever they do this year, look, certainly if it's a berth in the college football playoff, I mean, that's something that frankly, most people didn't think was possible with this job. So, I mean, you're talking about just a completely different territory if that happens. But let's say they end up, 8-4 or whatever it is. And it's clear that this program is on the ascent. Obviously some of the questions nationally will be, all right, well, Pavia, big part of that. Can you do it next year when theoretically he's not there? Like that's going to be the next step. But there will be people calling. Like when job openings come up, Clark Lee, if it continues to go this way at Vanderbilt, will be on people's list. He will be a wanted commodity. And if you're a Vanderbilt fan, you're thinking, okay, we know that. Like we've been scared. Like this happened with James Franklin. He had success here and then he left and he went to Penn State. If you're a Vanderbilt fan, I guess you're at least feeling good that this is our guy and he took this job because he wants to be here and he went here. And how much weight is that part of it going to hold when and if these other bigger programs start calling about Clark Lee?
Yeah. I spend a fair amount of time on message boards this year. So I can tell you that UCLA fans think that they could get Clark Lee. Clark Lee was an assistant there.
Yeah.
And I laugh at them. I laugh heartily at them right now. I think he's home. Again, he's got like a lot of things. He has got things in place from the top of Vanderbilt that maybe like Dan McGugan had a century ago. I mean, it's all the stuff about Vanderbilt over the years, about the administration, the separation between administration and athletics. I mean, he's got things pretty good there. And it's a job. I guess you can kind of look at that job a little bit like Kentucky with Mark Stoops, where it's like, I mean, if you win 7-8 games, man, you're a hero.
Yeah.
And I know some Vanderbilt fans want to hear that. Like, we're 5-0 about to go to the playoff and beat Alabama, sucker. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it. But realistically, like if you can be competitive and be consistently pretty good, that's so far beyond Vanderbilt performance. So how much as a coach, again, it's like the weighing of that versus do you want to go to a place where you can win a national championship? Now, again, he would tell you that's what we're trying to get built to here. And I'm going to keep an open mind on that. I do think that it would have to be like one of those programs where you're like, how could you turn it down?
No.
Like, so we're talking about not that many programs in the country, 8 to 10 of them that would even, to me, get like a serious look from him. And that's just me guessing, but this is his hometown and it's his alma mater, and that does mean something.
Yep. 615-737-1025, our phone number. So of the successful college coaches that we've got around here, of which there are many, unlike the pro sports teams right now, we got a lot of successful college coaches around here. Which one is the biggest threat to be lured away by another job? We'll continue to take your thoughts on that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us later in the program. Getting into all things Tennessee Titans with him. Right now, throwing it out there, the successful college coaches around here, there are many. Tony Vitello, Josh Heupel, Clark Lee, take your pick. Add anybody else to the list. What's the biggest threat to be lured away out there? On the Heupel front, we've talked about Clark Lee and the job that he's doing. Heupel's in an interesting spot to me because, like, to me, and there's one particular school I know everybody's going to be thinking of, and I'll get to that here in a second. But to me, to be lured away to another job would probably require, like, a higher level college football job would probably require him to take a step at Tennessee that he has not yet taken. And I'm not just talking about college football playoff. It would be probably something deeper than that, a deeper run in the college football playoff, getting to the national championship game, something like that. The NFL with him is interesting because on the surface, Heupel screams like college football guy to me. And also the offense he runs, you can't do in the NFL. So when everybody was talking about that a couple of years ago, about whether or not, you know, he was going to be an NFL, like NFL coaches or NFL organizations may try to lure him away. I'm not saying he can't go to the NFL and formulate a different offense, but it's just, it's not like you're taking what's made you successful in college and then applying that in the NFL. So that part of it has always been interesting to me. It's a total style change that would have to take place.
Yeah, and none of those guys who have been, who are sort of, as far as I know, I could be forgetting somebody, but this started with, really, this is an Art Briles. I mean, this offense was designed by Art Briles as a high school coach in Texas. I mean, that's what it was. And then it's spread around. Levy does it. Lane does it. I mean, Fran Brown does it at Syracuse. I mean, I don't know, and I could totally be missing someone. I don't know of anybody who has done this offense who has gone to the NFL. And I think Heupel fully believes it. This was Heupel reinventing himself. Heupel ran the air raid as a quarterback for Mike Leach, and he was an air raid OC. And then all through those years at Oklahoma, and eventually he got scapegoated and blamed when things kind of went down for them, which I think had more to do with quarterback play than anything. But again, you're still coaching the quarterbacks, but they made some bad decisions at quarterback. So when he reinvented himself, got fired, when he was like the guy everybody thought was going to be the heir apparent to Bob Stoops, and all of a sudden, no, how about this new dude, Lincoln Riley? He'll be the guy. Well, he reinvented himself and adopted this offense, and I think it's so much a part of like what he is. Yeah, it's like you just aren't doing this in the NFL. You can't. So yeah, on top of just, he doesn't strike me as like a real NFL guy. Clark Lee doesn't either, by the way, but I guess of the two, I could buy Clark Lee maybe being interested in the NFL more than Heupel. I don't know if you may disagree with that.
No, I think I would agree. Let me be clear. I don't really think either one of them are interested in
I don't
the
either.
NFL.
I think they're both going to be college coaches. But that, like in 2022, when they were like, if you are like doing stuff that people are like, whoa, in college football, which is what was happening in 2022 with that offense, there was definitely some rumblings about teams at least being like, okay, look, if you got a guy who can figure out in the SEC scoring this many points, okay,
yeah,
it makes sense that front offices would be at least look that way and say, this is interesting. But I think it's like you said, it's like you got to do something like or make a deep run where it's like, okay, this guy clearly is a special coach beyond whatever the scheme is.
Now, on the Oklahoma front, because I know that's the next thing people will connect the dots to with Heupel. I mean, that's another reason to me why it's a shame Mateer went down, because if Mateer is healthy throughout all this, then I think you get a really good picture of what exactly this Oklahoma team is this year. And they're going through a stretch right now where, I mean, it's not going to be impossible to survive without him, but it's going to be tough. Like they're going to be without Mateer for the next, 3 games at least. And then we'll see after that. And, if they end up 7-5 at the end of the year, and part of that's because their quarterback was out for 3 games, what do they do at the end of the year? Do they fire Venables? Do they say, hey, you know what? Tough luck, man. You had your quarterback out. Let's try it again one more year and roll him back out there. I don't know. Well, let's say that job came open. If you're Heupel right now, that's where you went. That's where you won a national championship. That's where you coached for a long time. You've built up a program at Tennessee. So if Oklahoma calls you, are you taking that job if you're Heupel?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I think that so much of, yeah, Oklahoma's had more success in recent years, right? I mean, I guess overall more championships, whatever. But I mean, I think the profiles of the programs are. I don't really think Oklahoma is a better job, and in fact, you could make the case that I understand it's so much about the portal. You can get guys from all over the country, different schools, but I think you're still closer to way more talent here. I mean, you do the Texas thing there, but I would still say that you're in a little bit better recruiting region just to have, kids whose parents are drivable to the games, stuff like that. And that stuff still is part of this.
Well, I think the fact that they're in the SEC now also matters. Like there was a time where you looked at the Oklahoma job and it was like, okay, well, it's the Big 12. Oklahoma's got a great history, but really I have to worry about Texas. Like I'm worried about Texas, and if I can take care of them, I'm going to be in the national championship conversation.
Yeah.
It's not that way anymore.
But you also get into over time, if we're getting 15 million more a year with the SEC deal than the Big 12 deal, what does that mean? You know what I mean? So you could look at it either way, but yeah, I'd be surprised. And I think there's still some, I don't know if bitterness is the right thing, but it's not like it was just Bob Stoops. I mean, look, you know how it goes. I mean, OCs are the most attacked person in sport. Like the Oklahoma people, it wasn't pretty for Josh Heupel there. Not just because Bob ended up scapegoating him, but like it was, talking to people who covered Oklahoma back then, the entirety of like fan base, talk radio, message boards were totally like Heupel's the problem. And I don't think Heupel's I think a little bit of a grudge holder, a little bit. So I'm not saying he hates Oklahoma or anything like that. He loves his teammates. He raised his family there, all that stuff. But I'd be surprised. I think there's no compelling reason other than the history.
So we determined that Vitello the most likely one to be lured away. What do we think? If you had to pick one, would he be the one? He's my answer.
Well, I guess if we're going to include Shea Ralph, like if UConn, again, it would have to be because, and they have to keep advancing here. They've been in the NCAA tournament. They make a run, but I think she can do that. So the timing, I think that UConn job could be really hard for her to turn down. I mean, she was a star there for him. It's still, it's the gold-plated program of that sport. So I think that would be my answer if those circumstances line up. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's still hard for me to see Vitello wanting to do. I don't know. It's a really interesting question because he's got it good, man.
He does.
He's got it good, and when you talk about, I know that every Tennessee football loss, it's like take money away from baseball, take money away from basketball. I want all the money going to football, but I feel like they're funding him pretty well, to be able to.
They'd won that Georgia game. They just took some of that money away from basketball or baseball.
It's right. I mean,
got one more player out there.
One less outfielder. Can we have one less lefty first baseman? Yeah. But I guess because I do think the two football coaches are, I think they're long term.
Entrenched.
That's right. That's a very good word.
615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. Who is the Titans' core? Who are the core players? And how many of them are going to be around for the foreseeable future? We will get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Wednesday morning. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com will be with us later in the program. We will get into all things Tennessee Titans with him. We got the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up later this hour as well. All that ahead. Taking your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode in charge of the text line this morning.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, a lot of you sent texts in, and I wasn't minding the store. I apologize. Some of these comments I won't get to. Michael and Madison, interesting point, says, what's stopping Clark Lee from turning Vanderbilt into one of the 8 to 10 big jobs that anybody else would jump on the chance to coach for? Well, I mean, it's a little bit. I mean, it is a little far from that, right? Like, let's not get carried away here. Well, look, I think college football at a relatively small private school has been most successful where? I would say Stanford's had some good stretches, right?
That's probably my answer.
It like there is. It's funny because I was actually talking to some Vanderbilt people yesterday. I'm writing about Vanderbilt this week, and you got to always remember as much as things have improved, and certainly Vanderbilt has successful people. They have people with money, all that stuff. Yeah, there's still a difference. Like when you talk about a huge public school that has hundreds of thousands of alums in the country, you're going to have more people, rich people, to hit up. I mean, just the raw, just like a bigger high school and a way small high school. Though the bigger high school is going to have about 5 or 6 more really good athletes, and they're going to beat the crap out of the smaller high school who has 1 or 2, right? So I mean, like, there's still like some reality in place with being a small private school, but being in the SEC is a good thing. And the revenue sharing thing, by the way, that is, and I hadn't really thought about that, but the revenue sharing aspect of that has started this year is a good thing for Vanderbilt. Now, they don't have the traditional setup with like athletic department is over here and the university, like it's, again, it's a private school and it's all kind of, and people have complained for years, the university took the SEC check and, they made a dorm or whatever. Now it's like, I mean, this is revenue sharing. So it has actually been a really big escalator for them. But 8 to 10 big jobs in the country, we're talking about decades and decades of high level of success for these programs that are in that group right now, right? And Vanderbilt, we're talking, this is the biggest stuff that's happened in a century.
Yeah, like it's really impressive what they've done and what Clark Lee continues to do. And we'll get into the Vanderbilt-Alabama matchup a little bit deeper as the week goes along here. But as I said yesterday, it's got the big game feel to it. And I don't know how many times I've been able to say that about a Vanderbilt game, but it's got a big game feel to it coming up on Saturday. So we'll see what happens on that front. Go ahead.
Real quick before we get into the next thing, Notre Dame, obviously, that's a big miss on both. Yes, and there's no question. So Notre Dame is the clear answer. Notre Dame also has been at the forefront of college football for a century.
Yeah, like I didn't even really think of them in the same.
But that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, they're. I think they might be a little bigger, but still, it's a private school, and so there you go. That's also a special case, right? Notre Dame was like the nation, like America's team, or most hated team, but different deal. But yes, clearly that's the one.
So the Titans, as we know, this is progressively with each passing week more and more about the future than it is right now. And we knew that coming into the year. Like it's always been about Cam Ward, the future. What does this team look like by the time the stadium's coming open in 2027? Now that they're 0-4 and they've lost 10 games in a row, you're even more focused on the future because, quite frankly, the present sucks. So that's where we're at with the football team right now. I have no idea by the time the NFL trading deadline comes around this year how active the Titans are going to be. Is Jeffrey Simmons still going to be here? Are they going to try to ship out as many people as they possibly can and recoup as many draft picks as they possibly can by the time the deadline comes around? We'll see what that all looks like. But like identifying that Titans core right now, who would we say is a part of that? Who is in the Titans core right now when you're looking ahead to what this team hopefully turns into here in a couple of years. Who's going to be a part of that? Who's still going to be here? And how many of these guys are going to be playing significant roles on this team by the time 2027 rolls around and they're marching into that new stadium? So, Joe, let's just start on this front. Who would you identify as, like, if you're let's say they end up moving on from Brian Callahan and they go out and they're trying to hire a head coach. I mean, one of the questions the head coach is going to look at the roster and they're going to be like, okay, so who am I building around here? Like, who do they have in place that I feel pretty good about and that we could start to lay a foundation with here? Who would those players be in your mind?
Well, of course, you start with Cam Ward, and you hope so, right? I mean, I think Cam Ward, just about anything could happen the rest of this year, and he's going to be the quarterback next year in 2026. And then after that, the way things go in this league could be different. But you start with him, and I have no idea. Again, I'm not out on him from what we've seen. I have concerns. Some of the concerns are the exact same concerns I had when I didn't think they should have taken him number one. But I'll pick him. I would go with Aya Manor. I like him. I mean, I think right now he looks like a legit, like a heck of a pick in the 4th round.
Yep.
You got to go with Skoronski and Latham, right? Those two guys.
I assume on Latham.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah, Latham TBD. I'd feel pretty good right now. I'd feel pretty good about predicting like opening day 2027. They say they open the season at home. It's first day in the new stadium. Who's starting? Who's starting for the Titans? Core guys. I'd feel pretty good about Skoronski, Ward. I mean, Io Manor, I think, and I would pick Latham. You're right. We still have to find out a lot more about him. So that's the thing. So there are some offensive pieces, not enough, but at least I can come up with 4.
Yeah,
The Mandor will be here, right?
What's that?
The Mandor?
Mandor still there by that time?
Oh, I would bet no. I would bet that Mandor would be closed or it'd be moved on to shipped off to a lumberyard somewhere else. But I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, he's under contract, but they can get out of it. Again, the problem is when I say no, then it's like, okay, so they are spending, a high pick on a left tackle, or they're going back in free agency.
Back in. Yeah.
But I'm going to guess no on that.
Okay.
And even, I don't even really. There are a few veterans who might be around, but I guess I'm thinking who are the young guys who are going to be, and then they're starting that day, and then if down the road they're going to be part of it too.
Yeah,
he's definitely not in my mind. I mean, will Simmons be here? Will Simmons be good?
I'll put it this way: I will be surprised if Simmons is still here in 2027, based on where they're at right now. And how far away I think they are, I'll be surprised if he's here in 2027.
So, look at that defense and tell me. I mean, I'll tell you one guy.
Did we mention Sweat?
Well, we haven't gotten there yet, but I mean, I think he has a chance.
I'm not convinced.
I'm not convinced either.
I mean,
but he has a chance.
You want him to be,
yeah,
right? Like it's a 2nd round pick.
He should be.
He should be. But we need to see more Sweat than we've seen to this point.
I see him play. Cedric Gray would be a guy I'm looking at. He was terrific the other day. He's flying around, and that actually, I mean, I'm sorry, did Rand turn the stove on for a minute there? Maybe, I don't know. We can't give him any credit.
Microwave,
yeah, microwave popcorn. Maybe does that count as cooking? If they throw a little cheese on top of it when you get it out, make it your own.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Cedric Gray would be a guy. I think I'd pick him. And I mean, Roger McCreary, could be I think it's probably in their best interest to try to give him a deal before the season ends, before he's like, thanks, bye. As Amani Hooker, I'll tell you what, Amani Hooker, it's been struggle bus for him.
I was going to say,
it's been struggle bus.
I'm thinking about defense right now. I'm sure Oladejo will probably still be there because he's a 2nd round pick, but I don't feel good about a lot on the when you're talking about young guys moving forward. I mean they just traded one last week that maybe could have been part of that.
Yeah, I would have picked him to be in the rotation at least, be one of the top 4 corners.
I don't feel good about a lot right now on defense.
There's just
core players.
It's barren.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of depressing. It's kind of a depressing topic. Sorry. Because I know we needed more of those. Hey,
We've been
let's
struggling to find some of those lately.
how can we make people feel really bad about Tennessee Titans? But McCreary is a possibility, and I'm with you. Like I'm getting to the point, and it'll be interesting when we ask PK about this when he comes in. But I'm getting to the point where I think it's starting to become more likely than not that Simmons gets moved this year.
I agree. And again,
Especially if there's someone out there who actually wants to give up a first,
Well,
which I have my doubts about.
it's partly that, and it's also partly him. Like, you can't convince me that he, in the back of his mind, going through this again for the third year in a row of them just being awful, is not sitting there thinking, please get me out of here. Like, and I know he's not going to come out and say that. And I'm not saying I'm not saying he's even talking to his teammates about any of that. I'm sure he's doing all the right things, and the leadership's great and all that stuff. But in the back of his mind, there's got to be a conversation at some point where he just approaches board guys and like, hey, get me out of here. Like, it's time for me to move on. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that, but I'm just trying to approach that of what I'd be thinking if I was him.
I
mean, imagine the fresher breath there he would feel walking into
I
a
know.
different locker room, given with a chance to win.
Yeah.
right. And he has experienced high level winning in his career here. And obviously he's a Mississippi guy, he's close to home, all that stuff. But yeah, I think he'd be all right, maybe not having to deal with this Groundhog Day for a while.
So the core players, as we look ahead to when this stadium opens, who are they? How many of them are they? And how do we feel about them moving forward? We'll get into all that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com has graced us with his presence early today on the program. Early? No contact with the police today, as far as we know.
Well, I wanted to leave some time in case it was a weekly event.
Ian, can you head over there and bail him out?
No bailing out. Here I am. No police interaction today. I'm on a streak. New streak.
Yeah.
It's a real thrill. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Apparently, people thought that you actually got arrested last week, according to one poster for our good friend DJ Burnside, with great work, as he always does. But we can confirm that Kuharsky did not get arrested.
Glenn Gleno saw that picture and thought I actually my police interaction extended to being put in the back of a
He's
police
in the back of the cop car.
And my media ethics class was talking about AI slop, and I actually used that as an example of how people can be idiots and misinterpreting things.
Have you had the lesson plan yet on what to do when a coach you cover wants to beat your ass?
I don't think he wants to beat my ass. I do think we're drifting apart.
I don't know. I really liked your tweet the other day. You were like, Brian Callahan has come to life with my question about hope.
He did liven up in that. I mean, he's been. I don't know if you guys have listened to the press conference or read the transcript. I'm sure you've.
No, we've enjoyed him.
I mean, he's very muted, and he actually perked up at that question about is the building. What's the word I used?
Hopelessness.
Hopeless.
You said the word hopelessness.
And he perked up and said, "No, we're not hopeless. When you get to when you get to the other side of this, it's terrific." I mean, he's gotta be hopeful, right? If he's not, nobody's gonna be.
There.
But I thought it was interesting that he kind of came to life asking that. Look, Brian Callahan's a terrific guy. There's nobody that doesn't like Brian Callahan.
Nobody.
And I know people, nobody who knows him that doesn't like him. So I know people don't care about that or want to hear about it. But to be in the position I was, it wasn't that long ago where he helped me with a relentless and resilient story. And so, he's feeling like, damn, I helped you out with that story. And I'm feeling it too. Like, it's a little bit hard, even for me. People think I'm emotionless and everything, but I'm thinking like, it was a year and a half ago where everything was hope here. And I was asking you about your new slogans and you helped me. You showed me pictures of those words on a wall. And here I am. And I'm sure he feels like, you've turned that against me. But the fact is they've shown no resiliency and no relentless. And it's a completely appropriate question at the time. And a pretty good angle that I came up with, I think. And then it evoked that response, help make it a good story, I think, at paulkuharsky.com. Now, I'm not anxious to be on Awful Announcing as a result of the way he responds or the
McAfee Show.
Paul Kuharsky.
I was on the McAfee Show again.
Yeah, like every week now.
Was it this weekend too?
Yeah, he's just attacking Paul Kuharsky all the time.
Guy loves you.
He does.
Okay, so
is that Connor over there?
Yeah.
I like that dude.
Okay. So I did not know. I was not aware of. So you actually wrote a story about the relentless, resilient thing.
Yeah, thanks for reading. That was my story.
That's kind of a dumb story. Tell me about.
Okay, so which one are you referring to?
Well,
now or when he first got here?
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't know about
back
that.
then, I wrote, every coach comes in with his labels, and they've torn down Vrabel's, tough and whatever it was, and put up resilient and relentless.
Do you remember what Malarkey had on the wall?
Trample the dead. And,
it was like cut their jugular and eat their spleen. I was like, geez, man, calm down.
Would you call this cutting someone's jugular, Mike? That was a fine story at the beginning of a coach taking.
No, I know. I just didn't know. I'm kidding, but I didn't know. I didn't know that you had actually delved into because it's. I mean, they all have these.
Right.
Whatever. I mean, it's.
But when a new coach comes in, you say, "Hey, this was Mike's deal. What's Brian's deal?"
So you wrote a nice story on it, and then and then you just turn it against him. It's even more of a stab in the back than I realized. Wow.
But did you? I mean, I think it's a pretty good question because it does put him in a spot because he can't say, no, my team is showing none of the qualities that I've been promoting for 21 games.
Yeah.
But in fact, it is showing none of the qualities that he's been promoting for 21 games, which is the very problem.
I would argue that they actually are resilient to a point. They're resilient.
Yeah, they go down 26-0
Well,
and they fight back and score.
Just let me finish. They're resilient because they stink so out loud, and they're still like trying to deal and be resilient amid their badness. But they're definitely not relentless.
They're
definitely not relentless.
They're resilient. They're resilient in their effort to be resilient.
They're
not in their resilience.
To be resilient.
When you're this bad, that is something that you must show resilience in the face of.
Yeah.
And by showing up to work every day, I think that's resilience.
Well, I
So
like
by breathing, Joe says they are in fact resilient.
They continue to exist.
Check that box. Check.
I like the text we got on Monday that said they are relentless in their pursuit for 0-17. They are relentlessly pursuing 0-17.
That is very true.
My conclusion, Joe, since you didn't read the pieces, that the R word they are is repetitive.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, a little wordplay.
It's
a little
pretty good.
wordplay.
PK, I know that this narrative has irritated you, so I want to start on this because I've heard from some people this week. Well,
Sell the team, just sell it.
well, not that, but then
Not
we
that
could
one.
get in that if you want to. But if you're the Titans, let's make sure this thing ends up 0-17, and let's get that number 1 overall pick again. Which, first off, let me say this. I don't know that they're going to need a whole lot of help in securing the number 1 overall pick. So that's the first thing.
Jets aren't very good.
Yeah, the Jets aren't very good. The Saints aren't very good. But even the Saints showed some life against Buffalo. I actually somehow watched some of that game the other day. So let's start there. But a point that you brought up, like if you're a Titans fan that's already like, please just get me the number 1 pick again and we'll move back from all that. That is probably going to include not very good progress from Cam Ward in the midst of all that.
They're going to have a high pick. I don't know that you have to have the number 1 pick,
You may as well.
but they're going to head there. I don't know that you need to be 0-17 to get it. But I think if you're rooting for 0-17, you're in effect rooting against Cam Ward and Io Manor and Winston.
Name
when
all
he
the other
comes
young
back,
guys
and
who are awesome.
All the young guys. Look, if you want those guys to be core players on this team and help dig out starting next year and beyond, they need to have and feel some success this year. Some. And 0-17 does not help them in any way, shape, or form. You say, well, it helps them because they get better players to play beside them next year. The trade-off is better if Cam Ward experiences some degree of success this year and those other guys. So I just think it's very dangerous territory and not very well thought out to say that the absolute best thing for this team this year is 0-17. I think the absolute best thing for this team this year is to get a high pick, but to have some success for those guys. You got to taste it to carry over into next year.
Yeah. Well, you can get the number 1 pick with 3-4
Right.
wins, right?
But I will
They
say
just
this.
did.
What's that?
They
just did.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, high pick. But no, number 1 pick is different. If you have the number 1 pick and there does end up being a quarterback that somebody's absolutely in love with, that's how you having number 1 is way better than having number 2.
It is. But I mean, I think they'd get number 1 if they won a couple games still. But here's the
Yes.
other thing. I've covered this team the whole time. There have been some terrible versions of this team. Terrible. And I've always arrived at a stadium on Sunday, at least for a couple games during the horrific seasons, thinking, well, they could turn it on today. They could find something today. It's possible, against this team, or there've been surprise wins where you didn't see it coming at all. Right now, I don't feel that at all. I feel like they've got zero chance to show up and surprise and win and to outscore somebody and to do something.
I'm totally with
I'm
you.
talking
Yeah.
about the hopelessness that I asked Brian Callahan about. I have no rooting interest whatsoever, but walking into the stadiums that I'm walking into on a Sunday, I feel like there's zero chance that the Tennessee Titans do what it takes to win a football game, to come out and surprise. And you go, whoa, they drew up a good game plan for this, or whoa, so-and-so really had a monster day and took over this game, or any of those things that it takes. Right now, I have a hell of a time. I know it's a long season. A lot of stuff can happen, but it is very hard for me, even with New Orleans on the schedule or whatever, to not see 0-17.
Well, there's some sunshine on a Wednesday morning.
I mean, I'm totally with you.
Real quick, I'd like to invite the listeners on the text line or phone line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, 615-737-1025. Give in your stuff for Kuharsky. I want to read this one. I think this is a great point. Paul, your Yankees suck. Screw your Yankees. A whole bunch of exclamation points. Great text. Let's bring more of that energy today.
Hey, could be it tonight. You know how that feels. It sucks. I hate it. I'm in a tough position, but 3 innings into tonight, things may feel differently.
Let's get even more depressing on the show.
If it's over tonight, that absolutely sucks, and I'll be in an awful, awful mood. So, I mean, if you want that, you're 9 innings away.
We'll have you back tomorrow, I guess.
But
Rexrode has no faith in his team whatsoever.
I mean, your team blew
That's
a
true.
25-game lead, and they've got a 1-game lead now. What are the odds they hold on to that?
They're not high,
Good to know.
frankly.
So same to you.
Yeah.
737-1025. Kuharsky with us the rest of the show. We'll continue the conversation on the Titans. We do have the Rex Rant coming up at 7:45. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 the game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky with us for the rest of the program. Talking Titans. Got the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up here in just a few minutes. It looks like the Cleveland Browns have made the move to go from Joe Flacco to Dylan Gabriel as the starting quarterback.
Who thinks that's going well? Raise your hand. No hands raised.
Which part of it?
The part where he plays.
Yeah.
I mean, you think he's going to play well?
Well, they got what? The Vikings. They got the Vikings in London. The Vikings live there now, so the Vikings will be like, oh yeah.
So,
We think Brian Flores isn't like doing cartwheels down the hallways of London.
What a
hotel.
heck of a first week to start. It's like, here's the most complicated defense in the NFL, Dylan.
Go
Have
ahead.
fun.
I mean, that's an awful move. You got to find a soft spot.
Maybe this is how they get Shador in the starting lineup.
Well,
See,
maybe
the rookie couldn't handle Brian Flores' defense. Shador, you're up.
Hey,
Listen, I think Shador Sanders is absolutely, without question, better than Dylan Gabriel. So,
well, they'll find.
I mean, my quarterback evaluation skills I know are amazing, but
can we go back for a second to your which Titans will be left for
Yes.
2027?
Yes.
Yeah, Stilly has texted me that Skoronski's deal will be up. I think
No,
Skoronski's
Skoronski
gonna
will
it.
get a new deal.
Yes.
It has to.
Shut up, Stilly.
They have to keep some offensive lineman, and he's way too far down.
Did you hear that?
On Peter Skoronski,
Shut up, Stilly.
who's a good guard. He got turned twice by Hunter, who's a phenomenal pass rusher. I mean, you have to be a Hall of Fame level offensive lineman for that guy to appreciate you, and you should stop talking about him. He's pretty much a non-entity in Nashville anymore. Kevin Winston, you forgot, because it's easy to forget him because he has
that's a good
presence
point.
now.
That's a very good point.
But he'll be on this team.
That's a good point.
Tavondre Sweat, I would bet against him being on next year's team.
Really?
Yeah.
Next year's team.
Next year's team. I think
That
it will
bad.
be a battle for him to be on next year's team.
Okay, this is that kind of stuns me a little bit.
Well, it goes back to what he's not their guy. Like who's he drafted by?
Brinker's
He's
guy.
not their guy.
He's Brinker's guy.
I will say this. I think for all of Rand Carthon's faults, and this maybe qualifies as a fault as well, he was very good with guys like Brownlee and Sweat and all of those guys. He knew how to kind of put his arm around them and buddy up to them and kind of get the best out of guys. I'm not saying those are the same kind of guys, but they have kind of qualities that make them maybe a little difficult for coaches and brass and whatever. And so he was skilled at helping massage and handle those kind of guys. And so then when you take Rand out of the equation, and he had drafted guys who were very much his guys, another downside is he didn't do a good job with personnel. And then some of the personnel he brought in were very much, I think too much generally is made of my guy, your guy.
Yeah.
But in this situation, my guy needs me in order to be his best self. And now I'm gone, and those guys go off track a little bit.
So the real Rand cooking was babysitting, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, a little bit.
Babysitting, cook some macaroni and cheese, some chicken nuggets.
Make sure you turn the stove off when you're done.
and so, you fire the GM, and then you lose, potentially, quote unquote, lose guys that he helped manage.
Yeah.
So in his general managing, he was managing those personalities.
General issues. That's all
so
fine.
Winston,
but
I think
still, he's like, that guy got. I mean, if he's not on the team next year, I would bet you on that.
Let's see how he looks when he returns. In terms of, is he Texas Tavondre Sweat, or is he last year Titans Tavondre Sweat in terms of commitment, fitness, dedication, work ethic, all of those things. Here's another thing about the 27 Titans in the stadium, and I think it's a very small list. Now I just forgot where it's going. I mean, you talked about Hooker. I mean, this is just how things are going with the Titans. You said it. I mean, they signed him to a new deal. He's been a steady player his whole career, and maybe he's just played the 4 worst consecutive games of his career. He's not tackling back there in the last line of defense. All of that. Denard saying yesterday, hey, we've got to dumb this down, simplify it, which is not a bad thing, but I think they're kind of slow to get to it. Like, let's go. What's the delay? How much film do you need to discover that it's time to slow it down? And here's another thing I did with Braden Gall on my pod with him. Like, who's the second best player on the Titans defense right now? Off the top of your head, go.
I have no idea. Is it Cedric Gray?
I mean, Cedric Gray just had one really good game, but right now, to me, that's an outlier.
Yeah.
Let's see it again.
Who's the what player?
Second best player on the
defensive
Titans
player.
defense.
Second best.
You're going to hurt yourself.
I don't know.
Because we spent about 5 minutes trying.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think McCreary's making mistakes too. I mean, he'd be a candidate for it, right? I guess.
But I mean, you're
I mean,
coming
it should
so
be
far down.
Hooker. It should be Hooker.
But it's not.
Yeah, it hasn't been lately.
Snead. Should be Snead.
But if we're going
Nate.
recent, yeah, exactly.
Oh!
Recency bias, then I'm going Gray. Right? If you're going to say like Hooker's struggled lately, I agree. Well, I mean, Gray was good the other day, right?
Yeah.
Not that. I mean, he got caught in the wash and stuff like that. It wasn't a perfect game, but at least he made plays.
I think you nailed it there. Who makes plays for this defense?
Yeah.
It's Simmons, right? And then that's about it. Like they're just not making plays. That's what it comes down to, the whole team. They're just not making plays at all, which goes into what PK said last segment of it. Like, you walk into the stadium and you just feel like there's no chance they're going to win.
Exactly. Keep these comments coming on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. I got another great one from Bob in Mount Juliet. Paul is stupid. How did Levis's success in 2023 help the Titans? It cost them Joe Alt. They had no success in Mariota's rookie year, which led to the trade with the Rams. We don't get that if we experience success.
The Titans,
Bob in Mount Juliet.
the higher draft pick always is better. Always. Tavondre Sweat, terrifically better than the guys drafted behind him. Unquestionably. Here's how the draft works. If you have the 6th pick, he is absolutely always better than the 7th and the 8th pick. This is why the draft order is written in stone.
It's math.
And it's proven.
It's just math.
And there's no intrigue to the draft whatsoever. And you know what? No one ever clicks on? Redrafts. When you see those redrafts pieces and the number 3 pick in the redraft is a guy who was drafted in the 4th round, there's no intrigue to that whatsoever, because the 4th pick in the draft was the 4th best player. And he plays like the 4th best player. He gets paid like the 4th best player. And it's always just locked in. What was this guy's name?
Bob in Mount Juliet.
Did Bob start with Paul? Paul is stupid?
Paul is stupid.
Bob is stupid.
Bob, your thoughts.
Bob,
I will be
let
waiting
us
for
know.
him.
We'll have the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. Paul Kuharsky is with us the rest of the program. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
He's bound and now. Kuharsky is on his way.
I didn't expect to stand on a soapbox for Paul Kuharsky today.
What would you say you do here?
What would you say you do here?
I do work here. I work hard.
I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand it?
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
And I promise I don't do drugs, but
Geez, I wonder if she goes out with one of the Yankees.
bag up, Terry.
Put him in reverse.
Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord, please.
Oh, yes. It is that time of the day. The Rex Rant brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net. I think I say this every day. That may have been my favorite Ian's ever done. That was awesome.
That was beautiful. That was a smorgasbord of joy for all of us. You make it better around here, Ian, to live in a town with this professional football
Yes,
team.
you do.
Tell you what.
Yes, you do.
I have a quick thing that I want to complain about, then I want us to discuss. But I don't want to forget this. Again, the text line driven by WilsonCounty.com. Some great stuff. We've got people ask for your autograph. But yes, seriously, use your mic. Will we have a segment today where you turn your mic on before you talk?
Well, I'm used to the producer taking care of the talent. I come from a long history of that. And I
was a little bit slow.
You want him to feed you some grapes, little sandwiches?
I thought Ian and I had a relationship, but apparently it's shifted.
Well, it's tricky as the producer to turn on the, I want you to be ready. Like, just to turn it on.
I'm ready. I come from
Soon as we're okay, we're good to
9
go.
years of full-time radio where I had a phenomenal producer who took care of the talent.
So
that was our number one thing, take care of the talent.
So you're sitting there in your chair and you're like coughing or something. He's like, "Well, just turn that mic on for him because he's a little baby who can't do it for himself." That's what happened.
No, this is Rexrode's the same
That's how
person.
I grew up in radio.
Rexrode's the same person who
Producer
doesn't
took
turn
care
his
of the
mic
talent.
off after every segment.
Yeah.
Ian
Rexrode
does.
turns it off every time he's done speaking because he's like, I know I'm going to do something stupid here. I can't have something stupid on here. I got to turn it off. It's like, hey, and then I turned it off, and then I turned it on, and then I turned it off, on, off, on, off.
Oh my God, that's a perfect segue into
Well done.
this text from Phil. It's very simple.
Phil. I love guys
2
named
words.
Phil. They're fake.
Ready? Paul ass. We've gone from we ass to Paul ass. Thank you, Phil. Very good.
There's a large
Hey,
buildup for that.
I'm glad he said we ass because we indicates, you're included.
Yeah.
Because Cam Ward was bad on Sunday.
Yeah.
Bad.
All right, we can get into that, but I just want one thing. I want to talk about this. We also need to get into Nick Holtz and you asking him, what do you do here?
People want to know that. I've been asked that a billion times,
I
so
know.
I relayed the question.
I just want to point out though, and maybe this is me bitter because I'm the only idiot who's like, he's not talking trash about L'Jarius Sneed last week. Although you were like, well, you were kind of like, well, you may be right. So you were a lot of everybody else was like, yeah, he's pretty much talking trash. Regardless, can I just point out here? I know there's so many things about this team that we could nitpick if we wanted to.
You've got 3 hours.
There's a few things that are wrong with this team, but it really is amazing that like Jarvis Brownlee, and again, if there's new information, maybe you have some, Paul, maybe some you can't share on the air, whatever. But I think I have a pretty good grasp on Jarvis Brownlee and what was going on, and I get it. But accountability, culture, all this stuff, and L'Jarius Sneed still on your team.
Yeah.
L'Jarius Sneed, who is clearly not knowing what the hell the coverages are half the time out there, screwing basic stuff up that a rookie shouldn't screw up, taking no accountability, talking trash, and getting paid what he does to get that. Like, to me, what is the message you're sending when you move this young player who clearly is like worn out his welcome to some extent, but no, let's keep trotting out 38 and the embarrassment that he is on and off the field.
Treat different players different ways, right? Talk about that all the time based on status, history, contract, whatever.
What does he bring that's positive to the Tennessee Titans?
Well, occasionally he sticks with a good receiver and makes a good play. The hit rate isn't high enough. I think they're anticipating he's going to get increasingly better as he comes back from this knee. They're depending on him. in a way that I agree with you. There's not a lot of evidence in play that suggests they should be, but I think they're still thinking that he's going to turn out to play like a number one cornerback. I agree with you. It's somewhat mystifying the way he is with us. I mean, he's just kind of a weird dude, but I asked him about that play. I mean, I don't understand how, and Dwight from PR, is having a conversation with him pre-press conference. He knows what's going to be asked. And he's been a big time NFL player.
Sure.
If you put that crap out there early in the week, that if something goes wrong, you're going to have to speak to it.
Yeah.
So I go right there. You did the who stuff during the week and you get beat on 2nd and 33 really badly for a first down. How do you feel that worked out for you? And instead of squaring up to it, he said, "Is that the only play you saw?" Now that is poor.
There's no accountability. Again, it doesn't always, whatever. There's still like the stuff in the locker room that nobody sees, but I just, he doesn't seem to be any sort of a leader.
He's got to be better in the locker room than we know. I think he's got to be better in the locker room than we know. Also, they've got so little on defense in terms of leadership and personality and guys who have any kind of pelts on the wall, no matter what he's doing right now. I think he's got some. I think they think he's got some credit.
So let's bring it back again to someone who is talented, is aggressive, is kind of a dog. Yes, penalties and whatever he did. You don't think that they're like, when you weigh everything together, that maybe you should keep a guy like that around?
It's mixed messaging is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally see that it comes across as mixed messaging. Absolutely. I think that they should do more. And they're in a new era of PR, do more publicly to clarify something like that.
And not make Brian Callahan answer questions when he didn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, they made Mike Vrabel answer everything, but Mike Vrabel was a more powerful head coach.
He just wouldn't say anything.
He
just didn't say anything about anything.
He was a big personality and he had success. He started with success. So he had the credibility, at least, to stand out there. But look, this organization, to some degree has had trouble with this messaging thing throughout. And oftentimes it's not PR that's doing it. When Mike Vrabel is put out there to speak about his boss being fired with John Robinson, that's not Mike Vrabel saying, "I want to do this." And I don't think it's PR saying.
And by the way, we're basically asking, Mike, did you stab him in the back?
Yeah, exactly.
Was this you? Are you who done it?
I mean, whether or not that comes from Amy Adams Strunk, that's an Amy Adams Strunk problem.
Yeah.
And this is an Amy Adams Strunk problem. We
always end up getting there, don't we?
We do.
All things come from the ultimate top. And she can hide as long as she wants. I don't know why people are buying tickets to her new stadium, given this. They want to see Taylor Swift very badly, but all they're buying is a chance to buy tickets to that. I don't know. If you're buying tickets, if you bought tickets to the new stadium, call us and tell us why.
Now you're going to start a firestorm.
Why?
Explain yourself.
I mean, I don't know why anybody would be spending a penny on this team going forward. And I don't know why there's not some big fan movement to unite, not show up, and not spend a penny.
Well, they're doing.
Where is that? Where is it?
Doing a pretty good job of not showing up so far for this year. Well, it's going to be bad.
Tennessee football fans are really good at expressing themselves, but when it comes to that, not. And there's still a lot of people. I mean, it's not well attended, but there's still a lot of people in there. I mean, maybe they go to the New England game to see Braves and to see a bloodbath the way you go to a horror movie. But you should not be showing up because you're going to buy a hot dog or beer. And that's money in their pocket.
Yep.
And if you have an appointment at Titan's house, you should be canceling.
There you go. 615-737-1025. Our
we
phone
ask.
615-737.
They should unfurl a banner. We ask.
We got one more hour with PK. A lot of stuff on the Titans to get to. We will do that next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us for the next hour, talking all things Titans. Brought to you by Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse, featuring their new rooftop dining experience. And you can check out PK's work at paulkuharsky.com. So, PK, a lot of people thought Sunday may have been it. A 26-0 loss to the Houston Texans. Shutout on the road at Houston. We've seen some decisions get made in this franchise before after a loss to Houston. So I did have one eye kind of looking around on Monday thinking, is Brian Callahan going to be shown the door today? He did not, and he has not been, and he will be coaching coming up on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. So I guess I'll ask it this way. How much were you maybe expecting something to happen on the Monday following the loss to the Texans, and how close do you think we could be to a coaching move being made at this point, given lost 10 in a row, they're 0-4, and to me, and I think to most people, they look like they're getting worse.
Yeah, I mean, we're not seeing progress. 26-0 is not progress. You know, they like to talk about that it was 6-0 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. You know, from what I could see, you take the score at the end. And the nothing is big the week after you change play caller. No spark, no life, no plays. You know, this conservative attitude where you run on 3rd and 12. Hardigree says he regrets that. This thing where you run on 3rd and 10 before a field goal attempt before the half. You know, why not try something there? You could conceivably get a first down and get a closer field goal, or, you know, conceivably go try to get a touchdown. They seem so willing to take
overrated.
A field goal. Touchdowns are overrated. This willingness to take field goals, and then your field goal kicker goes cold and misses two. Every team in the league has plays that are like, hey, this will get us 12 yards or be an incomplete pass. Hey, this is a long shot touchdown, deep touchdown throw, or it's an incompletion. Titans don't seem to have or want that. Well, it's low percentage, so we're not going to do it. You know, low percentage plays sometimes draw a pass interference. Sometimes your guy goes up and makes a terrific catch. Try it. Default to aggressive. I asked Bo Hardigree yesterday, why not default to go into a game preset to default to aggressive? He said, we don't want to stray from the game plan. Make the game plan default to aggressive. I don't think Callahan's going anywhere anytime soon. I just don't think that they see a terrific upside to doing that. And I do think, you know, I could see things getting better for a short period of time if you went with Fassel or Wilson or McCoy. But ultimately, in talking to some people about the interim thing, and I do, the guy Superhorn on Twitter put out a very good study of the bump you do get from interim that was in favor of interim. But I think there's a feeling.
Well, who cares about the bump? It's not about that.
Yeah, it's not about that. I think
this team stinks.
Yes. And so how much better does it get?
So now we're screwing up the number one pick.
Well, I think they still want the consistency with Cam. I think they suspect that more doors closed and people become more closed off if the head coach is dumped. And they don't want that.
So right now you would guess that Brian Callahan gets the whole year.
I don't know about the whole year, but more for sure.
Like you're not looking at it like we talked about in the summer. Like Vrabel comes in. I mean, we already saw what the Houston thing, which is often a touch point. 26-0, nothing happened. So
the more I think about that stuff, though, the more I think about what we talked about yesterday. Of like if it's too obvious, that she's not going to do that.
Yeah,
like
I agree,
and I don't think and people have brought this up, and I think it's a fair point. I don't think she's going to give Vrabel the satisfaction of, oh, they just kicked our butt, and I'm going to fire his replacement in response to that.
Gives him the very power that she didn't want to give him, which is why she fired him.
And he'd tweet some goofy stuff, like, you know, probably a picture of you or something to taunt her. You don't want that.
I just It's very frustrating for everyone to already be talking draft and draft order and all. I don't know. Some of the draft people probably love it, but there are people who like the draft more than they like football.
It's true.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very depressing.
Well, so
when are you having a draft guest on this week?
Yeah, we got an hour with Brugler Friday.
5th round. What are we looking like there, Dane? Yeah. Well, so I hear everything you're saying on that front. Here's where I'm approaching it from this week. Like, if I'm the Titans now, I'm starting to ask the question of not what is the benefit to firing him? What is the benefit to keeping him at this point? Because, like I said, they appear to be getting worse. I'm not in there day to day. I don't know the inner workings of the development of Cam Ward, but I do know you've taken his quarterback coach and you've now thrown more things on his plate as play caller. The guy who is your head coach, we're looking at, is supposed to be some quarterback guru. Cam Ward's numbers to begin the year are awful. And I know there are a lot of things you can point to with that. They've dropped the ball. The offensive line's been bad. They're a bad team. So we all know that. But there's not really anything I'm looking at right now that says, yeah, that's a positive reason to keep the coach. And I wonder, like, if it continues on this way, how much damage is done by leaving things status quo the way that they are right now? That's where I'm at with this discussion.
Perfectly fair question. You know, I think there's a line of thinking that you want to maintain something for Cam here. Well, aren't you maintaining something for Cam if he's still with Hardegree, Holtz, you know, and all the same position coaches working?
Is Holtz allowed to talk to him?
His guys? Yeah, Holtz is in fact allowed to talk to him.
Don't call plays.
You know,
Still don't.
I don't know.
It's fine.
I see both sides of it, but there is a lot of patience and discipline necessary from this organization. And my suspicion is that they feel like by exhibiting it with the head coach, they're kind of setting that framework that they're going to be patient with things in general.
I hadn't thought about it that way. Okay. Yeah, it's, you know, obviously we talked about this the other day, the whole idea of are you messing up the quarterback like with Brian Callahan? And, you know, I mean, I have my doubts about that. I mean, I feel like quarterback development is people do a lot of the same stuff, right? And then it's like, even to your point on like their aggressiveness, like the 3rd and 12 run, that was bad, but I actually would side a little bit with Callahan on like they have had some shot plays where you get sacked, right? Like there's plays where they probably would have liked to have done things where you get sacked. I mean, but the Cam thing is, you know, it is all about what's best for him. So one of the Callahan arguments to fire him is that, you know, things get so negative. Again, you've got awful announcing talking about you and Brian and your little snits or whatever is going on with you two, that at some point you need to just end that, right? You've seen that where it's just like, it's just toxic. Now I know like maybe it's different with Wizenhut because he was such a jerk and no one liked him. And this guy's very different, but don't you think that that's a factor in all this too, beyond the Cam, you know, development thing?
Yes. And I will say John Fassel yesterday was extraordinary in 15 minutes talking to the media. Tehran and I were talking afterwards, and he was like, he said, if I was in this organization right now, I'd go sit with John Fassel. And I know you'd come out of that meeting feeling better about like your chances and what's going on here and all of that, which was a great point. John Fassel should set up office hours and be like a team psychologist.
Like you with your Belmont students.
Almost.
Life coach of sorts.
Yeah, exactly. I hope to have a positive influence on them. I do.
Yes.
And the one thing is, I mean, and God bless him, he spoke beyond special teams. I asked him, how have you come in such short order and turned around a unit that was terrible? I know you don't like to talk about it. But
we played his whole answer.
Offense and defense haven't done it, and he was terrific on that. That sounds like a guy I'd like to lead my team. I mean, he's got more to say on that than Brian, and you would think he's got more, if you put him in charge, would have more of an effect on that than Brian. So, I mean, there's a case for Fassel, who has been an interim coach before in the league. You know, I haven't looked specifically at their results. And like you're saying, it's not really about the results. It's about like
this question of like,
change.
well, what's it going to help? Like, guys, we already know. We already know like where this team's
The
going.
roster.
You know, they
The
might
roster
win.
is
They
the
might
roster.
win 3 games.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. 615-737-1025, our phone number. More coming up next with Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Paul Kuharsky with us here on the program, talking all things Titans. PK, I mentioned Cam Ward's numbers. He's got a 51.2% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 614 yards, 4.9 an attempt so far this year. And as you said, he's not very good on Sunday against the Texans. Now, there's all sorts of circumstances. It's 4 games into his rookie year. Titans do not have very good talent around him, so we know all these things. What's your concern level of what you've seen?
I'm concerned about that sidearm when he's – it's great when he uses it to throw around somebody, right? And he's very clever with it and effective with it. He can – if a guy's charging and he throws it around the guy's armpit when the guy's got his arm up, he's avoiding a batted ball and finding a way to get the ball to his receiver. That's terrific quality in a quarterback. But when he breaks free and he's on the run and has room, what is he doing getting off of his feet and throwing sidearm where the ball ends up behind Isle Manor, where the best he can do is reach back and get his hands on it, and it turns into an interception? I mean, that's poor technique and fundamental stuff. And the Titans have said as much there. He had a bad footwork game. And look, I'm not, my expectations are probably too high, but I think like when you get to a certain point with your stuff, this is like my stupid comparison. Simon has a tendency not to finish his damn swing, right? And so he's given up that much power because he stops swinging and he's pretty fast. So he likes to start running.
Yeah.
I go, dude, you're giving up half of your power because you don't finish your swing. And when are we going to get past this? You're 15 heading into your sophomore year. Well, I mean, he's only 4 games into his career, but we talk about the footwork. It's been beaten into you. How are you, I agree with Callahan. Like, it's hard to call something a regression 4 games in. But, like, how do you go so far backwards with your footwork when it was pretty good against Indianapolis and it's pretty awful in Houston?
That's a good question. I mean, I think obviously quarterbacks get affected. How many quarterbacks, I think we saw it with Marcus, get affected eventually by ghosts or whatever, right? Maybe it seems like maybe a little bit. He's not nailing the footwork and stuff because he's already like, here comes the pass. I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating, but it seems like there are times when he rushes when he doesn't have to rush, and that's like I think that's the footwork. That's when you get bad footwork.
They got to put him on.
It's very easy for us to say, but
I mean, he's best when things get chaotic. Now,
when he can break the pocket, elude someone, and then he'll rip one, and you're like, dang.
So you've got to artificially create that without the trouble. I think you got to get him on the move, roll him out.
But in this league, man, you have got to a large percentage of your stuff has to be see it, rip it, go
from the pocket.
quick progressions from the pocket.
I agree.
If you can't have that as a steady diet, you're. I mean, even Mahomes. Yeah, everybody talks about Mahomes and all the stuff he does, but if you watch Patrick Mahomes' game, most of the stuff's out fast.
But like I agree, but you can do some still relatively fast stuff with him on the move.
Yep.
And I just want a more steady percentage of stuff with him on the move. They don't string together drives. And he talks about when they cross midfield, they sputter out every time. And so now when you cross midfield, start doing something different. I agree. Gradually, you want him to be the pocket guy, but he's not as good out of the pocket right now. So do the things that he's doing well. And it doesn't need to be that 3 guys are chasing him to the sideline and he throws it back a 45-yard pass from the 9-yard line. I mean, you'll take that when you get it. But I think they got to get him somehow on the move.
Well, and as this thing goes here, as we talked about earlier in the show, they're so bad on offense. Does he get to the point where he feels like he's got to do way too much out there? And I think we're rapidly approaching that I worry about they can't score points. Everybody knows they can't score points. So does he try to put everything on himself and end up creating more harm than good that way?
And, Sly, who they can't wait to send on the field, Fassel said, not a problem. Made the same mistake on these 2 kicks. Doesn't think of it as 4 in a row. The one got blocked that would have been good. The other one was outrageously long. And these two in this game were same mistake, very correctable, taken care of. I almost wish that he was having a problem that might make them reluctant to send him on the field.
Richard on the YouTube chat on Ward says, take Marcus, things he couldn't do in college never improved, while in Tennessee, you're starting to see the same thing as Ward. They're coaching Ward like he's Levis, just don't make boneheaded plays. They have to let that go. I would say, I guess kind of the same idea, what you're talking about, like to do the stuff that's good. Is that developing a quarterback if you say, well, he can't do the stuff that's really important, but he can do a few things, so let's lean in on the stuff that he can do and not like force him to get better at the things he has to get better at.
Can't you do both simultaneously?
I don't know.
60-minute game.
Can you? I can't develop a quarterback.
No, I'm saying, can't you develop him on this stuff that he's not good at and give him some plays of the stuff that he's good at? It's the job to mix those two things together. But I don't think
synthesize.
I don't think you say we're going to beat our head against the wall and take 3 and outs with less reps for him because by God darn it, we're going to develop him.
Don't move, Cam. Do not move. No, of course. I mean, look, ultimately, like, hey, all these people need to win a football game. So whatever you can do to win a football game would be good.
Cam, this week, we're setting development aside. You're going to
be running around like crazy out there.
But, when you
drop back 19 yards, loop to the left, circle, loop to the right. Let's try to hold the ball for 18 seconds.
We're not even going to have routes. They're going to stand there for a minute, and then they're just going to start a scramble drill.
When you feel like you've drifted too much, drift some more.
Our least fit receiver will pass out.
But, like in all seriousness, I mean, I think you still have to, like if you move, you talk about moving the quarterback. Well, whenever you do that now, like he's reading half the field, right? Now, look, there's plays like that, and that's fine. But if you're consistently taking half the field out of play, you're kind of limiting yourself, right? So I mean, there's got to be a balance. I agree. There's got to be a balance.
More often than they do. And listen, we haven't talked about the one thing that everybody out there is hoping that we'll get to, the one thing that'll clearly fix this offense, and you guys know what that is.
Restrepo?
He's sitting on the practice squad over there.
We've got some texts on Restrepo.
Sure
Let me promise you.
Unbelievable.
Sure we do.
People want him to replace Ridley.
Yeah.
Just man for man. And never mind, they don't play the same position.
Just get out there and run.
That Ridley relies on speed and Restrepo has no speed. They're just 1 for 1. Give him Calvin snap.
Yeah.
Real quick on the text line, we have people saying that we are the negative. 99% of our questions are negative. And when Vrabel's here, got people saying we're soft on them. Got somebody saying, "Why are you guys in love with Vrabel?"
So are we negative or are we soft?
We got the whole thing.
Yeah,
we got all of the and I got someone just screaming, "Will not let it go!" Like, please ask you about Jeff Fisher as director of operations. That's got to be the answer, Paul.
It's not going to happen, and it's not the answer. I mean, if you're looking for ties to Titans lore, I would suspect, but this is just an inkling, that Amy Adams Strunk will put on the list to be looked at as the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans, Jim Schwartz and Arthur Smith.
Okay.
Now, I don't
know. Those are not unreasonable.
No. I think, her father loved ties to, Mike Reinfeldt got the GM job because he was a former Titan. Mike Munchak got the head coaching job because he was a loyal, longtime Oiler Titan. I don't know that, those two guys had different degrees of success as head coaches, but I think they're going to want to hire a guy with head coaching experience, and I think they'll probably get looks based on their relationship with the team. I'm not saying they get hired, and I'm not saying it's written in stone, but that would be my suspicion.
Oh, awesome. Draft talk, next coach talk. Let's go.
So what's going to happen with Jeffrey Simmons? We'll get into some trade talk coming up next. Paul Kuharsky with us here on the program. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us here on the program as well. PK, I think you'd agree Jeffrey Simmons has been one of very few bright spots for the Tennessee Titans so far this year. He's been very good.
He's been terrific, and he's kind of changed his outward attitude in a lot of ways as well. He still says, when they give up a lot of run yardage, he'll point to like, well, there were 3 big plays in there. They kind of don't count.
There were some other plays where they didn't get a lot of yards.
Yeah.
Did you see those plays, Paul?
Yeah.
But
I think his attitude, towards the press has been different in the way he's represented the team. And, and he's played great. He's looking for new guaranteed money. And I think all of that, whatever his motivation is, it doesn't really matter when he's producing results, right?
Sure.
Everybody's playing for their next contract. And Jeff is doing a hell of a job playing for his next contract. I don't know, everybody's always convinced, well, a guy definitely wants out of here. He definitely wants to go play for a ring. I mean, certainly guys want to win, but I don't know. There are some guys who are married to their organization and who would really like to help turn around the team that they're on. So I don't know where Jeff sits on that. I don't think anybody, like us knows. I think probably there's a part of him that wonders about what things are like elsewhere, but there's probably a part of him that thinks, I would really like to be in that new stadium on a team that wins.
Well, yeah, there's probably a lot of them that would like to be on a
either
team
circumstance.
that wins.
I would like to have another huge guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
Seems to me, yeah, sure. But seems to me that when you've gone through what they've gone through, and especially if you're him and you've seen where it was and what it is, that you might be sick of this place.
Yeah, but also you've won here, and
right?
You're losing badly here.
And there's
how great
people.
would it be to be on the other side winning again? Like if you were a part of the resurrection story, which I'm sure he's confident he could be if he believes in Brinker. It's not about the coaching at this point.
So
right?
Brinker is who you have to believe in. That's who.
I would think. I mean, Brinker's draft. Femi does not look good. We don't know about Winston. But
so who, Brinker or Borgonzi?
Brinker has personnel power.
He tells us that Borgonzi makes the player decisions.
I don't recall that. Brinker has the final say, but Borgonzi is contractually, it's in the thing. There's like one guy who has to have the personnel clause in his contract, and he's the guy that has the personnel clause in his contract.
I mean, am I wrong, Robbie? Like Brinker.
Well, this is exactly the point, though.
Well,
this
yes.
is why this whole thing is so stupid.
Yes, but Brinker he absolutely said that Mike is picking the players, right? Am I wrong?
He
on
did
this?
at the draft. Yeah.
That's what I've said all along. Borgonzi.
You just said Brinker.
I never said Brinker.
Brinker's
You
got
misheard
final
me.
say. Two different things.
I said Borgonzi. You misheard me.
Robbie.
Did I say Borgonzi?
You said Brinker.
If I said Brinker, I misspoke.
like 10 times in a row. Good God.
If I said
I'm not losing my mind, right?
If I said Brinker, I
Say it again.
misspoke.
Berserker, that's all I heard.
God.
Borgonzi's the one he needs to have faith in.
There we go.
Borgonzi's the one he
Holy
needs to have
crap,
faith
dude. Like we talked about this for 2 straight minutes. You kept saying Brinker.
Long fuse.
Oh.
Full display again. That's all right. Joe didn't think Jerry Sneed was talking trash last week, so I'm never going to let that go.
I still don't think he knows who he is.
The whole thing about Simmons to me is what do you get back for him?
Yes.
I think it needs to be 2 picks. I do not think you can get a first for him. Do you get a second and a fifth, a second and a sixth? Does that second pick conceivably escalate based on his performance? If you can get that, I would think very seriously about it.
Colin Shelbyville says, we need to keep Big Jeff. He's the leader and the heartbeat of this team. Let's get more picks by trading the number 1 pick in the draft when we go 0-17.
I would like
What
the
will
heartbeat.
Jeff Simmons be? What will Jeffrey Simmons be at age 32?
I would like the heartbeat of this team to be at one of the premier positions on the team. First off, the heartbeat needs to be Cam Ward. Secondary heartbeat, I would like to be a receiver, an edge rusher, a corner.
Yeah.
Defensive tackle, very important. Not as important as those positions I listed. The Titans need to load up and get star talent, Simmons level star talent, but move it off a defensive tackle. I understand defensive tackle is very important, but if you're building a team and everybody says you start in the trenches, but you can find trench guys later. You cannot find premier, game-changing, not Io Manor receivers, game-changing, CD Lamb, Justin Jefferson, these kind of guys. You don't find them outside of the high first round. You don't find premier
Except for A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
All right, they're a handful, but you get what I'm saying.
But you do.
The hit rate,
So you're wrong. Okay.
I'm spending all my top resources and all my top dollars on wide receivers, cornerbacks, edge rushers.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean,
Joe's going
linemen,
to count on the you've already spent them on offensive line.
Yeah, but you're going to need a left tackle.
Well, Moore is the left tackle next year. It's at least 2 years.
Will Moore be the left tackle when they open the new stadium?
No, Moore will be a 2-year guy. So left tackle too. So there's 4 positions.
Sounds good.
4 positions, though, that go ahead of defensive tackle for me.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with all that. Are you all right over there?
Left tackle, Joe, is almost like it's an unspoken. It's an unspoken.
I'm sorry. We're talking about the heartbeat, but Brian asked, who is the colon of this team?
We asked. We colon.
Oh, boy.
We small intestine.
Oh.
We large intestine. We can have a weekly shirt. Titans should run with that. So people think the we ass shirt that was kind of floating around as a joke would sell. I don't think it would sell. Like, are people going to wear a we ass shirt?
Oh, I think they would.
I think they will.
I think they'll do it
to a certain young demographic. I mean, you're not wearing it if you have young kids.
Like, if you had a choice between wearing, like doing the old school paper bag thing or a we ass shirt, I'm going we ass.
Yeah, it's a game day. So once.
Hey, Amy, how's it going down there?
How many home games have they played? 2.
Yep.
So you have it for 6 games. You buying a wee ass shirt for 6 games.
Oh, I think it's well.
And then we're getting
We're
getting the cold
to
weather.
a concert.
Yeah, you can wear it to a lot of different. I mean, conceivably, they could be for a long time. Like this could be a long lasting shirt.
I mean, I'll produce these shirts if a poll says people would wear them.
I mean, people are already churning them out, man. Yeah. We keep getting sent links. People have jumped on this.
Yeah, it may be an oversaturated market at this point.
But we still get the low T Titans.
We do get the
Low T Titans. I mean, that thing lasted 5 minutes.
I know.
Cam screwed.
Cam destroyed me.
Screwed
the last QB selling Mayo Cologne, and this guy's got wee ass. Absolutely selling like hotcakes.
You want me to tell Cam? Cam talks today. I go, hey, some friends of mine had Low T Titans T-shirts, and then you said we ass. The whole thing got turned on its head.
Please,
you're ruining businesses, Cam.
Ruined at that point.
Livelihoods.
So okay, I'm with you. If the Titans get offered 2nd round pick plus another pick, definitely something I would consider. Let me ask you this way: if you're the Titans, are you actively shopping Jeffrey Simmons as we get closer?
Not yet. I mean, I don't think people, I think you guys would agree with me on this. I don't think people really know who they are and what they need yet. They don't know, like, hey, we need this ingredient to make our playoff push. And the other thing is you're paying X games worth of the contract, which is big.
Yeah.
And so financially, you want to wait. The trade deadline isn't till
November 4th.
Yeah. So it's a month away. I think 2 weeks, you get a little bit better feel. There's 2 less weeks of pay. So I think we're early.
But I mean, there are some teams. I mean, some people have mentioned Buffalo, but I mean, like, I think Baltimore would be a team that, how much you want to help Baltimore, I don't know, but a team that, like, they're so banged up, I could see him being a big help to Baltimore.
It'd be completely fitting for the Titans to trade their best player to Baltimore. I mean, that's the pipeline.
It is sort of the history.
They're
big on honoring history.
If you've got Henry and Simmons in Baltimore, I mean, Titans fans would be, I would start the whole thing again about you can't root for Baltimore. And people would be like, you can't tell me who to root for. I root for guys, not for teams. He's on my fantasy defense.
IDP. colon.
Yeah. we colon. I got one more
If we
segment.
ask now, and Simmons is off the tee, I don't know where you go from there. We, the thing that come out of that.
Wow. Titans don't score any points. They just gave up 60. It's unbelievable.
No one runs on this
League.
team.
Have one more segment with PK coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Oh,
Final segment of the day. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com is with us here on the program. A couple thoughts to get to here. One YouTube commenter was talking about Callahan, taking it back to him when it comes to development of quarterbacks. It says the QB guru has had 21 games and both quarterbacks have looked worse under him. Now, I don't know where we're basing Ward looking worse off. I mean, he's a rookie, so it's the first 4 games.
right.
But he's not looked good. Like he's not making the progress through 4 games than I think a lot of Titans fans were hoping for. We know about Levis last year.
Levis was better as a rookie.
He was.
I mean, he was.
He was. Now, again, I think people are taking the Levis conversation a little too far over the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
But like going back to what we talked about earlier with Callahan, like looking for reasons of, okay, what makes sense? Like, why are you keeping him moving forward here? It would be nice to see his specialty with the quarterback, what it's supposed to be, manifest itself at some point here. And it just has not done that through 21 games to this point.
No. And it's completely fair to just wonder if we're seeing what Cam Ward is, or if the coaching and the system and the scheme are putting us in a place where we can't know.
Well, don't forget the talent, the lack of talent. On the field, right?
Talent around him. But I will say, in time, good quarterbacks work around bad stuff. There are plenty of quarterbacks who have overcome bad protection and elevated bad receivers.
There are
maybe
some.
not.
There are
maybe
some.
not this early, but I mean, he's got better receivers than Levis did, and he's got better protection, frankly, than Levis did. Though it's not showing up the way you want it to be. They got to get Latham healthy and out there.
Is that possible this week?
I'm not sure. I think I'd give it a 60% chance. Yeah.
Okay. That's
it'd be great.
Somewhat optimistic.
You got to get him out there. I mean, they're in a revolving door at right tackle right now, and it's just bad option after bad option after bad option.
And they actually survived it reasonably.
They actually did. Like, I'm stunned.
In this last game was one of their better. They schemed around their deficiencies and survived. I mean, that's the thing about this loss that's so bad. They got 2 sacks, which is their most. They allowed 2 sacks, which was their least. And the penalties were not that bad. If I told you, hey, they're going to address these 3 major issues, how's it going to go? Would you say the worst game of the season?
No, yeah.
Well, also they didn't have a head coach situation that was embarrassing.
Right.
And
So there's
requiring explanation.
The 4 major issues are addressed, Joe. How are they going to do against winless Houston?
A big goose egg.
So, then you got old Joey Sly out there. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's always something. I mean, there's a hole. You plug this hole, and here's the other one.
Also,
get into the red zone.
They make it like if it was 6-6 going into the 4th, it would have been an entirely different game. Would it have been an entirely different game?
No.
I mean, it looked to me like they had very little left in the 4th quarter on defense.
Yeah. I mean, just Stroud has regressed clearly, but that game, it seemed like it was a matter of time.
So with Cam Ward, right now at this moment, how would you characterize just him? Because it's hard to do that because of all the other things, but what you see from him based on your expectations going into the season, better, worse, same?
I think worse. I don't know. Maybe people think that's too harsh. I do like the way he talks and the way he assesses things and his self-awareness, right? Yep. I don't think he's fooling himself into thinking things are better than they are. And I think that's an important quality to the whole thing. But, I'm going to ask him today, like, how does the footwork get so bad in this game and why? And how do you fix that in a week and assure yourself that you do what you did against the Colts and not what you did against the Texans? And why is that such a fluid thing? I don't understand. And he'll probably give me a very good answer, which is part of the job. Not the answer part, but that he has an answer.
Yeah, the identification of the problem. That's a big part of it.
It's important.
It's important. You put together an exercise at paulkuharsky.com comparing the Wisenhunt and the Brian Callahan-led Titans and putting a team together from those two, which I know Titans fans are like,
I have
go, baby.
I have made
Chance Warmack, come on down.
I did make an adjustment, 2 adjustments. I pulled Warmack for Radens.
What a battle that is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I pulled Derek Morgan for Harold Landry.
Okay.
So 2 things in the Callahan regime favor. Still, Wisenhunt, And I will admit those suggestions came from Stillman, who read the piece and sent me a text last night. And
Look at
he was
you.
right in both circumstances.
Listen to this Stilly. Look at you.
The Wizenhunt team had more to work with. There are more selections from Wizenhunt's team. So that's a real indictment of the general managers who set up this roster, as opposed to everyone's favorite general managers, Mike Reinfeldt, who had players on that team, and Rustin Webster, who drafted, Bishop Sankey. But there's more on that team than there was on this team. If you look at this team, it's hard to imagine a team of combined players from 2014, 2015, 2024, 2025 being any good. I mean, that team is probably a fourth place team today in the AFC South, but it would win a game or two.
It's bad. Good grief.
Yeah, I did not name a right tackle. That's how bad the right tackle situation is. Jeremiah Potassi is not making a team.
Yeah, just go ahead with that one. Put another receiver in there.
Yeah. Now the tight ends on this team are spectacular. Delaney Walker and Craig Stevens.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nice.
you put those guys on this team, you got some difference makers.
Texter here, Rick says, you just said plenty of QBs overcome bad protection and elevate bad receivers. Who are you thinking of? I mean, I think of like Burrow with protection, Mahomes receivers, but I don't think there's a lot. There's not a long list.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say Tom Brady because Tom Brady's an all-time great, but Tom Brady played the vast majority of his career elevating average receiver.
Yeah, but he still had like guys who could play. Like Troy Brown and David Patton could play.
Peyton Manning played a good share of his career with bad offensive line.
Peyton Manning?
He had a couple. Terry
Mr. Saturday. Don't tell
Tariq
him.
Glenn was a good offensive lineman, but they didn't invest a ton of resources because they counted on him to move out of situations and to get rid of the ball fast. So those are two extreme examples because they're exceptionally good quarterbacks. But lots of quarterbacks, and I'm sorry I'm not coming off the top of my head, have elevated receivers. And that's something Titans quarterbacks have not done. Ryan Tannehill didn't do it, for example, which kept Ryan Tannehill from climbing to the next step.
Made Corey Davis look all right, but we'll see. We don't have time to debate that right now.
PK, thank you for being with us.
Don't block the box. Be sure to lock your locks and look out for cops.
Next, Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.